When you're looking at a sample paragraph, you're trying to attain for yourself what's here in the model. If you write something that's a third this length, have you met the mark? Have you hit your mark? You have not. If yours is significantly shorter than the model, you're not there yet, right? Use the model. You should be working with the model in front of you, saying, okay, she wrote 3 sentences that sound like this. I'm going to write 3 sentences that sound like that. Okay, now she wrote 2 sentences that sound like that. I'm going to write 2 sentences that sound like that too. And you got to work that model. That's what they're there for. They are color-coded. They match up with the job. But if your paragraphs are 5 sentences and mine are 15, you have 10 more sentences to write. Yes? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, when you're doing that draft, right?
Yes.
Do the color code?
You don't need to do the color code. You can if it helps you. But then when we revise, we'll turn it all into just black text. Okay? But if it helps you to color code your work so it really can match the model, you do that. Whatever helps your brain. And then we'll format it to get it turned in. But it's fine. You want to color code. Works for me. Anything I can see you using the model for, I love it. All right, let's take a look at the jobs of a body paragraph. Dalton, read me the first job of a body paragraph. Dalton, can you hear me?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you said my name. You want me to read the first one?
Yes, sir. Yes, please.
Create a topic sentence that tells exactly what the paragraph will be about, connects to the thesis, and uses transitional words or phrases.
Fantastic. Larry, can you read me the second job of a body paragraph?
Give 9 sentences of details supporting the topic sentence.
Keep going.
3 major details with 3 minor details each.
All right, so you planned that in your outline. For A, you have 1, 2, and 3. Those are your major details for that paragraph, 1, 2, and 3. Each of your 1, 2, and 3 should turn into 3 sentences, right? Each, right? So in your outline, you have A, that's going to turn into your topic sentence. And then you have 1, 2, and 3 for A, and those should turn into at least 3 sentences each. Okay, it can be more than that, but it can't be less than that. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3 need to turn into 3 sentences each. We are using transitional words when you shift to a new major detail. Okay, and we offer a concluding sentence about what that experience taught you, right? We connect it back up to the thesis at the end. All right. I have put our transitional words and phrases in orange. The topic sentence telling exactly what the paragraph will be about is purple. The connection to the thesis is blue. Your details are in black, and your concluding sentence is in green here. Okay? I'm just going to have people read this a few sentences at a time. Anna Diaz, can you read our first sentence nice and loud?
Another special event that was really different because of COVID-19 with my daughter's 8th birthday.
Okay, can you tell from my transitional phrase whether this is my first example or my second example? Why? You're right. Why do you know it's my second example? Because of the transitional word another. So what happens with transitional words, if you use them well, it means that I could cut all the paragraphs of your essay apart and give them to somebody else, and they could put them back in the right order. Aha. Okay? So that's why we have that transitional phrase. What is the blue? This is the connection to the thesis. Different because of COVID. Changed because of COVID. And again, it's going to start to feel a little repetitive at first. Don't worry about that right now. We'll work on that when we revise. Okay? And then what is the A, B, or C that this is working on? What's the main idea of this paragraph? That's correct. They thought too smart. Yes, my daughter's 8th birthday. So this whole paragraph is going to be about daughter's 8th birthday. Fantastic. Good. All right. Haley, can you read the next 2 sentences from in normal times to birthdays?
In normal times, we have celebrated at a venue like the bowling alley or Build-A-Bear. Also, we have usually been able to invite 10 to 12 of our daughter friends to join us for a birthday.
Great. Okay. Well, we're taking 10 to 12 to the bowling alley. I'm not buying 12 Build-A-Bears, so. I'm not made of that kind of money. But right now, an indoor party of any kind, touching stuff all over a store, that's not what we're doing, right? So even 5 or 6 kids at Build-A-Bear is a no, right? All right. Kimberly, can you read the one that goes from this year to park? Actually, to that. Read that little part right there. Oh, it goes from this year to chose that.
This year, all of that's changed. We did not want to spend any time at an indoor venue, so we thought about where we could celebrate outdoors. One of my daughter's favorite things to do is to float in the Cahaba at Cahaba River Park. We knew they had a little prevalence.
Sound it out. There's no S in there. Hit the N at the end.
Prevalence. Is it prevalence?
Pavilion. That's very good.
Pavilion.
You had everything
Pavilion.
except the emphasis. Very good.
Where we could have take outside so we could choose. So we choose that.
So we chose that. Very good. Okay. So that's the first section. That's my number 1. Right? Then I'm going to use a transitional phrase and I'm going to switch to number 2. Somebody read me my number 2 detail. Let's see. Anna online. Oh, Isatu. Yes, please. Read. Nice and loud so these folks can hear you.
In addition to having a party outside, we only invited 4 school friends. 3 of them were girls. We had been playing outside throughout the quarantine because they live in our neighborhood. Only one child was from outside our bubble, but we knew she had been quarantined.
Okay, so this was in kind of the depths of the quarantine where like people weren't doing anything. We weren't coming to school. We were all virtual at this point. So it was a little weirder than it is now, but it changed dramatically, right? So we're thinking about bubbles. We're thinking about, who right? So we're not that bad anymore. But, so now that she's back in school, there is no bubble. There's no bubble. All right. Give me, let's see, Dalton, you already read. I'm going to grab Anna online. Yes, ma'am. Anna, read me this last detail.
Although I worried that this would seem different to my kids, she was really happy and excited about her birthday. She said it was the best birthday ever.
Okay, great. So in the last one, I used 4 sentences. So this one, I only needed 2. Right? And that's okay. If one of your details takes up 4 or 5 sentences and one of them takes up 2, that's okay, right? It should be an average of 3. You just can't have less than 9, right? But it doesn't have to be exactly 3 for each. You don't need to be that robotic about it. But you're aiming for 9 sentences of detail in the middle with those little transitional words. Are these transitional words weird? Do they feel awkward? Or are they just the words you would have picked anyway? These transitional words, are these hard to come up with, or are these the words you're picking anyway? For the most part, you're just choosing these words anyway, right? For most of you, you're already naturally using transitional words. So just kind of remember that when you move from detail 1 to detail 2, try to remember at least some kind of internal transition, like although, All right. And Larry, can you read get us ready for the next paragraph?
I think we all learned that you don't need a birthday party to be big or expensive for it to be fun and special.
Great. So she had a wonderful time, and I think we spent a total of like $40 on the cake and food and stuff. It was not an expensive birthday party. Publix cupcakes, fruit, lemonade. None of that's expensive, right? We didn't have to pay for the pavilion. I think we bought some inner tubes, but they were like, dollar store inner tubes, so I'm not going to lie. Those are the best kind. All right. But they had a great time. They had a blast, right? They were sliding around in the inner tubes in the river. They had their cake. It wasn't expensive. So I tried to make it come alive, right? I tried to paint a picture. I tried to tell a story. So if you're struggling to develop your body paragraph, think about storytelling, right? Think about if you're talking about your job and you're talking about how customers have been rude to you. Tell a story of one of the rudest customers, okay? And that'll make it come alive for your reader and it'll expand your paragraph. If you're talking about masks and how they make your face break out, tell me that story. Tell me, oh my goodness, I took off my mask at the end of the day and I was a mess. And I said, Mom, look at this. This is a mess. Look over here. Feel that. Right? But tell that story. Make it come alive. Imagine you're on the phone with somebody and you're talking to them about it or you're texting back and forth. Right? When you text back and forth with somebody, you can go on about the rash under your mask for like 10 little instant messages. Am I right? Put all those instant messages in here. Clean them up. Get them proper. Get them grammarized. Right? But go ahead and tell that story. Make it come alive for your reader in your body paragraph. If you can't, that might not be the detail that helps you tell your story. Think about it and maybe replace it with something you can talk more about more easily. All right. Let's talk about concluding paragraphs for a second. Miss Kimberly, can you read the first job of a concluding paragraph?
Summarize and assess how your explanations work together.
Example.
Your examples work together.
Right, there we go. Okay. So summarize and assess how your examples work together. So you are looking at how all three of your body paragraphs work together to teach you or change your view of the world because of COVID. How do those three things link up to teach me something? All right. Let's see. Haley, can you read job number 2 for a concluding paragraph?
Yes. Explain how you have proved your point, which you have learned. Restate your thesis from a place of more confidence.
Very good. Okay. So this is where you give a little pat on your back. This is essential. This is where you've been taught to restate your thesis at the end, right? But with a little bit of a difference, right? We want to do it with a little more confidence. It's kind of an I told you I'd prove this and look how great I've done, right? So you want to say, I knew that this was going to be bad and it turns out it was really life-changing, right? Something like that. It's that little I told you so. Enjoy it. It'll come with parenthood. Lots of I told you so. Right? I told you you'd be cold if you didn't wear a jacket and now you're cold. Don't complain to me. All right. So, that little I told you so builds authority, doesn't it? So the next time you tell your child to wear their jacket, they go, oh, I was cold last time. Some of them don't. Some of them are thick-headed. My daughter is stubborn as the day is long. But that little, it builds your authority and your confidence and makes your reader believe in you for you to end with, I told you this was a big deal and it is. Okay? This next one and the last one, these are the last 2 parts of your outline. Remember, I asked you to reflect on what you learned from the experience and what you want your reader to learn from the experience. we're going to take a few sentences with those and really get into what you learned and what you want somebody else to learn. So I like to think of it as explaining what's at stake